After the high of winning at Anfield for the first time in nearly 10 years, Manchester United now host Brighton at Old Trafford. This will not be an easy game, and Brighton have been a bogey team for us. So how will Ruben Amorim approach it? Will he make any changes to what we saw against Liverpool? And what's the team news? Let's run through everything and predict the result for United's game against Brighton. Go on then, peeps! Brighton at Old Trafford. I'm going. I only mentioned it a couple times. First time this season, looking forward to it. Hopefully I bring some good luck charm and we continue what we saw against Liverpool. Let's run through my starting 11 prediction, everything we know ahead of the game. You can let me know your predictions in the comments. Do you think United will make it 3 from 3? Well, I hope we do. But I tell you what, this Brighton game was never going to be easy, and it won't be easy. Let's take a quick look at Brighton's most recent results. You can see they've only lost 1 in the last 8. That was against Bournemouth. Inside that run of 8 games, they've beaten City. They drew against Spurs, and right now, their most recent result, really impressive performance against Newcastle, drew against Wolves in the game before that, and they beat Chelsea with a last-minute winner, I think, at Stamford Bridge. They're in form, and United are going to have to be bang up for it. Now, interestingly, Carlos Baleba's probably his best game so far this season came in that most recent game. I did a video. You can check it out. We took a look at all of his performances so far this season. It's the first in our scouting series. But we're going to be focusing, of course, on the game on Saturday. But before I do talk about it, I want to say a big shout out to Legend, who are going to be a paid partner at United People's TV for the next few months. I'm really happy to announce that because honestly, you can see their overshirts over there. There's 3 of them. You see this t-shirt here. I've already mentioned it before, but genuinely, these are t-shirts. They're clothes that I wear regularly. It fits nice and tight around the arm, tight around the neck, but it gives you loads of room around the midriff. Don't worry, hard it if you have a big weekend. Either way, follow the link in the description. You can get 10% off using the code United People's TV. I'd encourage you to give their clothes a try. As I said, we're going to be working with them plenty over the next few months, and I'm really delighted about that. But yeah, I can vouch for them. Now let's move on to talk about Brighton. Now let's run through the teams, okay? So these are the starting 11s from Brighton's game against Newcastle and United's game against Liverpool. And there's obviously going to be some changes from United's side. If I'm looking at danger men, Jorginho Rutter was a real danger for Brighton against Newcastle, running straight through here. Just very good at ball carrying. As I said, Baleba probably had his best game in a Brighton shirt, not a United shirt. Danny Welbeck got 2. Don't score against us again, please. But they're going to be dangerous. And here's the kicker. Here's the big question, all right? What do you think Ruben Amorim is going to change about his team from Liverpool? Because there was one big change. We all know what it was. He played Cunha as a false 9. Sesko dropped to the bench. Lamons was kicking it really long. And United were aiming for this area here to win the balls, the second balls in that area there. That was the game plan. And it really worked against Liverpool. Now, the question is, do you think Ruben Amorim's going to do the same game plan against Brighton? Because I don't mean this in a bad way. I think there's a real chance that he does. Because look, let's run through this. Brighton are extremely good at pressing teams. We know that. So if United try, which ultimately Ruben Amorim wants to do, but if we try and play out from the ball in these areas, you're going to get Minter coming down on us. You're going to get Rutter coming in and supporting Welbeck. You're going to get They are going to squeeze us in these areas. And simply put, we're just not confident of doing it right now. So by negating playing like that, by playing a little bit more direct, you can get rid of probably one of Brighton's most dangerous weapons. Now, you'll remember, maybe you won't, I'll remind you, when United played Brighton a couple of years ago, I think it was under De Zerbi, and we tried to press their team here in this area, you'll remember that what happened was their centre-backs just split. And then we couldn't get the ball off them. They were just playing around us. I don't think that United will go heavy on the press in this game, and nor do I think they should. In terms of changes, I think one change happens in defence. And you might say it's pretty harsh of me to do this to Harry Maguire, given that he scored the winner at Anfield. But I said this on the pod as well in the preview. I would much rather see De Ligt across the course of the season start more games for United at the back than Maguire. And I would go for that as the back 3. Luke Shaw keeping his place. To be fair to Luke Shaw, is actually pretty good against Liverpool. Let's see when Martinez comes back and whether or not he's fit. And Aiden Heaven is right now, it's kind of being kept in the shadows. So it's a little bit surprising, but I'll be honest, surprised that Heaven's not made more appearances. But anyway, I would start De Ligt and I would move Euro wide. We're going to be busy. We need our wide centre-backs to be as mobile as possible. I think Euro comes in for this game, and I think that's the right call. In midfield, I don't think Ruben Amorim changes that. I think you're probably going to see, as long as Casemiro is fit enough to start this game, because remember he played twice in Asia with Brazil, then started at Anfield, came off, what was it, after 60-ish minutes? I think for Ugarte after he got the yellow card. Casemiro starts this game. I think Casemiro Fernandes is pretty much going to be the starting central midfield pair as long as they are fit. But the big question is this, right? Sesko, Cunha, and Mount. What do you do? Because as far as I'm concerned, Brighton Mbeumo is a guarantee to start this game. Of all the front four there and the options that you've got, Brighton Mbeumo is not really a conversation point. He's going to start. And unlike Liverpool, you know, where against Liverpool we were just playing for the second balls, he was making no runs in behind, really. I think we're going to see a lot more runs in behind. And I think Ahmad and him, that was probably their best game together. So either that or Sunderland at Old Trafford. One of the two. But Ahmad and Mbeumo down the right-hand side is given for sure. I think the question is, what do you do here? Does Cunha start as a false nine again, or does Sesko come in? And if Sesko comes in, who does he come in for? Mount or Cunha? If I was to predict, and I was to guess this, I think we'll see Mount drop to the bench, Sesko come back in, and Cunha drop out wide. I think we might, I'm not sure, we might still play a similar style, going for the second balls, basically giving up those first balls to Hector, to Dunk, and then to focus on winning the ball in these areas there and overload that pitch. Stay quite narrow. I think Jamie Carragher, to be fair to him, ran through that pretty well. So if United stay in this sort of shape there and we don't chase the first ball, we go for the second ball, I think we can. We had such success with it against Liverpool. And because Brighton are going to aggressively press us, it just feels like a smart call. So that's actually the starting 11 I'd go for. I bring Sesko in for Mount, and I also bring Mount in the second half, probably for Cunha. And I bring De Ligt into the middle and put Yora out at wide centre-back. Only a couple of changes. Same result, please, lads. You know what my prediction for this game is? This is massively optimistic. I'm going for a 3-1 United. Brighton have been a bogey team. As much as I think Old Trafford won't settle for United playing with a sort of long ball, win the second ball strategy in the long term, I think against Brighton, right now where we are, it worked. Against Liverpool, I think it could work against Brighton. And I don't want to see United trying to play out from the back with the ball and losing it. I don't want to see United pressing Brighton's defence, sapping all our energy and then not winning the ball back. So that's why I'm saying use a similar strategy. Maybe if there's some slight tweaks to it, there's a couple of tweaks to the formation. Well, start 11. That's my start 11. Let me know yours in the comments. I'm going for a 3-1 win. I'll see you after the game on Sunday. Well, on Saturday. I'm looking forward to it.